Hi, Diane here, and today I'm going to walk you through these 7 books in the Samantha Kidd Style and Error Humorous Mystery series. So the first book in the series is Designer Dirty Laundry, and this is where everything started. This is Samantha giving up her job and her career in New York so she can move back to a small town in Pennsylvania, buy the house where she grew up, and start over in life. She takes a job at a department store Tradava as the trend specialist, but things go quickly awry when she finds her new boss dead in an elevator, and all sorts of questions arise about who she is and why she's there, because there's no proof of her new employment. So this is the book that introduces Nick Taylor, Eddie Adams, and her relationship with Detective Loncar, and kind of sets the tone for that. And there's some other series characters that pop up in here. So that is Designer Dirty Laundry. And fun fact, the house that Samantha moves into is the house that I grew up in Reading, Pennsylvania. So there you go. Book number 2 is Buyer Beware. Now, in Designer Dirty Laundry, she gave up her job as a buyer to try to find out what's going to make her happy in life. In Buyer Beware, she's forced to become a buyer again because now she has a house, she has bills, she has this life that she has to maintain. And this is the job that's available to her. There's a new department store moving into Ribbon, Pennsylvania. It's called Heist. And the book kicks off, there's a publicity contest for them, and she and some friends enter. And at the opening gala for the store, where they're announcing the winner of the publicity contest, Samantha finds the body of the handbag buyer of the new store. She ends up kind of going undercover and replacing that person to figure out what happened at the store, what happened to make this handbag buyer get murdered. So that is Buyer Beware. Oh, and this is the book that introduces Dante. And this keeps happening. I keep remembering little things. So Dante pops up in this particular book. The Brim Reaper. This book has a hat exhibit at the local museum. So her good friend Eddie is the curator, the guest curator of the hat exhibit. It's vintage hats from Hollywood. And it's been an exhibit that's had a lot of problems. Eddie's not the first curator, and Samantha very quickly, as she volunteers, since she's unemployed now, she volunteers to help him out and discovers one of the original curators dead in his office, the office that he had used when he was the curator. The thing is, Eddie is under suspicion, and someone is actively keeping him under suspicion, editing surveillance footage and making some clues point to him, and Samantha can't handle her friend being under suspicion because he stood by her side through a lot of other things. So the Brim Reaper, and there is something that happens in this book between her and Nick, which changes the relationship a little bit. So that is the Brim Reaper. Book number 4, Some Like It Oat. This book is kind of Samantha growing up a little bit. She has had some problems with her employment since moving back to Ribbon. And in this book, she's kind of thinking, going back to the decisions she made in book 1 and thinking, was that all a mistake? Like, should I just move back to New York, give up this whole plan of starting over, take my old job back, and just forget about grand happiness? So the thing here is, she is working on a runway show with Amanda Rees, who is Nick's maybe former girlfriend. And the reason she's working on that runway show is she agreed to help Amanda when things were good between she and Nick, but they're not so good anymore. She said she would do it, so she's going to keep her word, but that provides a lot of tension, and that does make her really compare her kind of somewhat messed up life to what she perceives as Amanda's perfect life. So Some Like It Oat. This is also Dante's book. So this is where Samantha kind of looks at the things that she missed out on, or maybe was going to miss out on, and analyzes a lot of her recent decisions. And there's an arson theme, which is why there's fire. Oh, she also toughens up a little bit, which is why you get Samantha in leather on the cover. Okay, book 5, Grand Theft Retro. This book has a 70s theme. So she has a job. Yay! She has some stability. Yay! She's working for an e-zine that reports on trends from the past and how to interpret them into the present. That magazine is called Retrofit, and they're looking at trends of the 70s in this book. And she ends up talking to a fit model for a lot of 70s designers. This person happens to own the sample collections of many, many designers, a very valuable sample collection. And the thing is, Samantha she's eager to make this job work and be successful, but she's got some competition in a new coworker, and she also starts getting some threats against the people she loves. So in this book, she kind of has to make decisions. Instead of just doing things on her own like she has in the past, she actively has to push away people to protect them. But she also she wants to get to the bottom of what's happening because she doesn't like the fact that the people she loves are in danger. This one also has to do, it takes place on her birthday, and what makes you grow up more than a birthday. So this one does kind of push her forward, and it gets a little bit more into her relationship with Detective Longcar, and you start to understand how that dynamic is working out after these different things that she's been involved with. Book number 6, Pearls Gone Wild. This book has to do with her friend Kat, who owns a boutique at the Ribbon Designer Outlets, and Kat's husband is the victim. Now, I don't like to just kill off good people. I always kind of think back to that line in Grosse Pointe Blank where John Cusack's character says, he plays Hitman, and he says, if I come knocking at your door, chances are you did something to bring me there. Which I'm totally paraphrasing, but I kind of feel like that with the victims, that if someone's a victim in one of these books, they did something wrong. And so this one, you kind of have to dial a little bit into Kat's husband. We don't know much about him because he's a salesman. He's been traveling for the first 5 books. And so this one, we find out a little bit more about what he's been up to in the background. So that's Pearls Gone Wild. It does have a jewelry theme. It takes place around the holidays, so you get the holiday theme. And there is a big change in this book between Samantha and some of the male leads. Things change. Cement Stilettos. Okay, so I knew for a while that I wanted to have a book that focused on Nick and his shoe business, because for 6 books, he's been kind of a Boy Scout. He's been a good guy. And you figure Samantha gets involved in a lot of crazy situations, so he just accepts all this and, he tells her not to get involved, but really, that's, sooner or later, something's going to happen there. Well, this is the book that shows you that Nick's got some skeletons in his closet, too. It has a mafia theme, and don't you just love Samantha's mafia outfit on the cover? So that's her mafia woman outfit. Get into Nick's backstory. You get into some trouble, and the local trouble, and it kind of explains a little bit more about this town Ribbon and why there's constant crime there. And so there are also some big changes in this book. So here things really start to move forward with Samantha, and she's learning her new life and where it's going to be. That's number 7. And the new book, Panty Raid. Panty Raid sends Samantha to Las Vegas. She's covering the lingerie market for her retailer Tradava, where she is back, and finding a dead lingerie model outside of her window sets her off on her sleuthing. But again, she's in an unfamiliar town. She's never been to Vegas before. She doesn't know this detective. She doesn't know, it's not the usual cast of characters. There is some familiarity there. Some characters are there because they're in the industry, but there's also a big change in this one that happens. So I'm not going to tell you what it is, but you have to read to find out where she ends up. So that's Panty Raid, and that is 8 books, 8 books in the Samantha Kidd Mysteries series. So I hope you enjoy them, and thanks for watching. Is Buyer Beware. And there's my phone ringing, so I have to turn this off. Buyer Beware. The third, in this book, whoops, I'm going to have to cut that out. Let's do that again. Shoot, that didn't work. The series is Buyer Beware. Might as well say, this is a tough video because I keep thinking of things to say and go back. And I'm probably going to cut this out too.